Today is Battle Chaos Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream! Very excited today and even unexpected because we got support for two of our rivals that are CEOs of their own companies, that being Kaiba's Blue Eyes and Reiji's DDDs. So let's begin! So first off, let's start off with the unique booster card of the set that is usually shown on stream, Guardian Chimera, which is a level 9 Dark Beast Fusion monster with 33 attack and 33 defense, requires 3 monsters with different names, and must first be fusion summoned by using monsters from your hand and field as material. And its effect is, if this card is fusion summoned by a spell effect, you can draw cards equal to the number of monsters used as material from hand, and if you do, destroy cards your opponent controls equal to the number of monsters used as material on the field. This effect is hard once per turn. So basically you fusion summon this card, you pretty much get a +3 out of it, because you draw cards to replenish your lost cards and or kill your opponent's field. So that overall is not too bad. And it has very generic materials, it just has to be different names, so you could essentially splash this in any fusion-based deck. But it has another effect where your opponent cannot target this card with card effects while you have a polymerization in your graveyard. Good number of decks nowadays that use generic polymerization is very likely going to run this. So overall, it's a nice additional option for your fusion decks. And now we go to Blue Eyes. We start off with Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Of course, it's a parody of the Blue Eyes White Dragon Jet, which is a level 8 light dragon with 3000 attack and 0 defense, and its effect is, if a card on the field is destroyed by battle card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard or hand. What's nice is that it didn't specify your opponent's card effect like most cards nowadays, and it's really easy to get this to the graveyard because Blue Eyes is going to be milling a lot of stuff, discarding them a lot, especially when they're level 8, so trade-in targets. So yeah, that shouldn't be hard. But its second effect is that other cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Pretty decent protection, especially it's a 3k beater. And its third effect is that at the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can target one card your opponent controls and return that to the hand. Nice, balance removal. You must control Blue Eyes White Dragon on your field or graveyard to activate any of these effects, which is not hard, and the first and third effect of this card's name is a hard once per turn. So overall, this is not bad. One, it's a nice mill or discard target, which of course Blue Eyes is going to easily do. Offers up some protection, and also battling monsters shouldn't be much of a big deal with this one because, well, you're just going to be bouncing them back to the hand. And even with that Blue Eyes White Dragon restriction, that's not going to be hard considering that a Blue Eyes centric deck. And you're going to obviously either get that on the field or graveyard in most cases. So definitely run this. Continue off, we got the Tyrant of D, level 4 Dark Spellcaster with 1200 attack and 1100 defense, and its effect is, you can send one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon this card from hand. Wow, this could essentially search your Blue Eyes from your deck by Foolish Burial with the target. Yeah, that's pretty nice, and it special summons itself on top of that. And its second effect is, you can discard one Blue Eyes White Dragon or one card that has Blue Eyes White Dragon on its text, then target one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard and special summon it. Pretty nice trade right there considering that you've got Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons that you can summon. And then to the third effect, if you control a Blue Eyes monster, you can choose the attack target your opponent attacks. The first and second effect are hard once per turns. So not only you can Foolish Burial Blue Eyes to special summon this, which is very helpful in fact, and it also kinda set up the second effect as it is because now you have a Blue Eyes in your graveyard, you could essentially just special summon it through this effect, but of course there's other Blue Eyes that you can special summon. But letting you choose the attack target for your opponent can be very nasty because your Blue Eyes will be at least 3000 attack. So unless if your opponent has some big ass beefy beater, you pretty much avoid your opponent from attacking. And this third effect is not a hard once per turn, so there's really no way to avoid it. So this card is definitely recommendable. And now to a new fusion monster that we finally got based on an anime card, the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Yeah, I know, right? It took forever. It's a level 8 light dragon fusion monster with 3400 attack and 2900 defense. Requires a Blue Eyes and one Dragon monster. Must either be Fusion Summon or Special Summon from the extra deck by triggering one Blue Eyes equipped with a Fusion monster. That's because of Tyrant Wing Dragon being able to equip itself to another monster. In extension, the Claw of Hermos equipped monsters. But even with its summoning condition, it isn't even hard to summon. But anyway, first it's unaffected by traps. This is because Critias is known to react with traps. Can attack all your opponent's monsters once each, because anime. And then its third effect is once per turn, if this card battles at the end of the damage step, you can target one trap in your graveyard instead to your spell and trap card zone. Because Critias, of course, interacts with traps. You do have some decent traps in the Blue Eyes deck, so this might be recommendable and easy to summon as well because it's Blue Eyes White Dragon and one other dragon that can clear your opponent's board. You might actually decide to run this. Not super necessary, but still pretty decent to run as a one-off. And now to the spells. First is a quick play spell, Ultimate Fusion. I'm surprised they didn't call it Blue Eyes Fusion. You can only activate one of these per turn, and its effect is, during your main phase, Fusion summon one Fusion monster that has Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material, shuffle those listed monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard into the deck. That includes a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Then destroy face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blue Eyes White Dragons or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon used as material from the field. Now, why it says Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is because we got the existence of Dragon Master Knight. And funny enough, since we are at Battle of Chaos, we do technically have Blackluster Soldier support in this set that is mixed in with Dark Magician. And considering that the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician support that also includes Blackluster Soldier support is in this set, I'm a little surprised they didn't remake a Dragon Master Knight, because that was called the Ultimate Fusion in the anime. But a recycling fusion summon is pretty nice, and by chance it could also replace Dragon Mirror, because you have Blue Eyes White Dragon card searcher and this is a Blue Eyes White Dragon card. And finally, a continuous spell, Apparitions of the Eyes of Blue. You can only activate one of these once per turn, and its effect is, when you activate this card, you can also reveal one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, and if you do, special summon one monster from your hand. Not a hard condition, and you could just reveal the Blue Eyes just to special summon it. Yeah. But second effect, once per turn, you can target one face-up monster you control, return that monster to your hand, then apply one of these effects based on the monster's original name. If it's a Blue Eyes White Dragon, special summon one monster from your hand. If it's not, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your hand. You do have some use for this because sometimes you do want the Blue Eyes in your hand, and there are cards that have the normal or special summon condition, so you might find some use with this. Although it's not completely necessary, still has some usefulness. Now on to DDD. Our first card is DD Griffin, level 4 Dark Fiend Pendulum monster with 1200 attack and 1200 defense, Pendulum scale 1, and its pendulum effect is that you can target one Fiend monster you control. It gains 500 attack for each Dark Contract spell or trap with different names you control and in your graveyard until the end of this turn. Then destroy this card. And this effect is a hard once per turn. Not too bad for a pendulum effect. Sometimes that power buff does help. But you're mainly going to be using this card for its monster effect, which is, if you control a DD monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. This effect alone can essentially be a 2 to 3 elf for the deck, because it special summons itself, which will trigger your DDD ace monsters, mainly the 3 kings. And not only that, it's level 4, so it does help out with Synchro Exceed plays, if you're going to go for the rank 4, but most people don't. But second effect, if this card is Pendulum Summon, you can discard one DD or Dark Contract card and draw a card. Not super necessary for that, but its third effect is that if this card was special summoned from your graveyard, you can add one DD card from your deck to your hand, except itself. Each effect is a hard once per turn. First effect is very likely to be activated, and the second effect, as much as you're not too likely to activate it, that graveyard setup can help. The third effect is very likely to be activated because sending this to the graveyard is not even hard. Yes, it is a pendulum monster, but you are going to be discarding cards for payments in a condition of a fusion summon, and in some cases even exceed summon, and it's not too hard to foolish burial this either. And that one extra search can be very vital. So this is a definite must play in DDDs. Now to a new boss monster, DDD. Amnesty King Death Machina, rank 10 Dark Fiend Exceed Pendulum monster with 3000 attack and 3000 defense, pendulum scale of 10, and its pendulum effect is that if you have another card in your other pendulum zone, you can target one pendulum monster you control or in the graveyard, special summon that card from your other Pendulum zone, and if you do, place that targeted Pendulum card to that zone. This effect is a hard once per turn. You will have some use for this because one, it does do a special summon, which of course can trigger some effects, and of course you can reuse some good Pendulum effects. And also keep in mind, we got a lot more Pendulum extra deck monsters in this deck. Mainly your Armageddons, but they rather be on the field. And in some cases, you could also put the Ragnarok in your other Pendulum zone, and then the Ragnarok can be special summoned with this, which will trigger Ragnarok's effects, so you do have comeback plays with this. So this Pendulum effect overall is not bad, but its monster effect is that first, it requires 2 level 10 Fiend monsters, or you can also exceed summon this card by using a DDD monster you control as material. It didn't say DDD exceed monster, it just says any DDD monster. So you could literally just use like a Flame High King Temujin, which is a level 6 DDD with 2000 attack, just to summon this 3k beatstick. So that itself is already nice. You can only control one of these in your monster zone, and then its effect is, once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, or destroy 1 dark contract you control, and if you do, attach that opponent's card to this card as material. Destroying your dark contracts is not much of an issue, because 1, they're continuous spells and traps, and 2, you have a payment to do every standby phase, and sometimes you do not want to keep those on your field. So being able to use those as cost for this, that's pretty nice. An instant effect, once per turn during your standby phase, you can place this card to your Pendulum zone. You probably won't be doing this often, but its Pendulum effect can be useful, so you probably will, especially because its Pendulum scale is 10. So overall, it's a pretty nice new boss monster. Now the only problem with DDDs right now as a deck is that they kinda lack main deck and extra deck space, and this is probably going to be a one-off for many DDD decks. And also, this guy is clearly sitting on a chair and it's not a pillar. Damn it, I was expecting a new pillar DDD that goes with Armageddon. That is an actual main deck Pendulum monster. But oh well. And now to the spell, our only spell, which is a field spell, Patenting Dark Contract Documents. Its effect is, if your opponent special summons an extra deck type as a DDD monster you control, you can inflict 1000 points of damage to them. And also, they cannot special summon monsters with the same type as those monsters for the rest of the turn, while this card is on the field. Alright, this can be really nasty. That essentially limits your opponent to only 1 extra deck summon per turn, depending on the deck, because many decks only use 1 main extra deck summoning mechanic. And considering that DDDs can summon multiple summoning mechanics in a turn, this can be hard to come by. But second effect is that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 DD monster from your graveyard or face up from your extra deck to your hand. This effect is a hard once per turn. If you're going to run this card, you mainly use it for the first effect. It is a dark contract, so it's searchable, and it's also a field spell. And what's nice is that this will not burn you every standby phase like every dark contract. So overall, it's a very good card. But like I said before, DDDs have very heavy main decks and extra deck space. But I'll definitely run it for at least 2 of, just to screw over my opponent of course. Finally, DDD Headhunt. It's a normal trap and you can only activate 1 of these per turn, and its effect is, if you control a DDD monster, target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end of the next turn, but its effects are negated, it cannot declare attack. Also, if it was special summoned from the extra deck, it is treated as a DDD monster, which of course can help with a lot of stuff, and in fact if it's treated as a DDD monster, you can summon Death Machina with it. Now the only issue is that it's a trap, so it is a little slow. And another is that it's not a dark contract, so it's going to be really hard to search for this. So for this one, I say run it with your own leisure, because you're already running out of space in DDDs as it is. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about the new Blue Eyes and DDD support? I'm just excited overall. We finally got the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, that took forever. A little surprised that we didn't really get Dragon Master Knight, considering that we have Blue Eyes and Blackluster Soldier support essentially in the same set. Or even a Blue Eyes Dark Magician Dragon, because why not? But for DDDs, I am glad that we got more support for them, because I've been craving new DDDs for a while. Now the only thing is, I was expecting another pillar because Reiji's main ace monsters are all pillars, especially a Pendulum Armageddon that is over level 8. Because I want to see a main deck evolution for Pendulum monsters rather than everything from the extra deck. But what we got is another guy on his chair. But overall, very nice new DDD support. But in that, have a nice day.